tell you, so here's the game plan here. I'm going to definitely try to get out of here by 7:30, as close to it as possible. That's what I promised you. We're going to talk for about an hour about just the restaurant environment in general. And then the final half hour, I'm going to show you menus. I'm going to show you logos. We're going to talk about names. And we're going to really try to, if they don't have a name, they don't have a logo. And I'm hoping out of this group, we're going to have some more insight to do that. We picked different demographics, different ages. I know most of you're kind of hand-picked. We may have one more person show up, but pretty much this is it. The final thing is we're going to have a friends and family opening. So I'm hoping to see all of you again in November and December. We'll bring you in, we'll give you free dinner. You can bring some people. And that will be their way of testing out the employees. So do a good job or I won't invite you back. So the number one thing is talk loud and talk one at a time and slowly. We just have a few questions to get through, so I'll get here. That's a joke. That's a joke. It's not that many. We're also not talking about time sharing. I don't know if anybody saw that. Trying to keep it loose here, guys.
When I saw that, I was like, that Larry, he's a trickster.
All right, so just to get things started, I like to go around the room. Just give me your first name. Tell me where you live. I don't need a street address. And just tell me your favorite. And when we talk about restaurants, we want to talk about like globally restaurants, like Baltimore area, and then we want to talk about local. And I'll tell you when I'm talking about local. But for the first question is just your name, where you live approximately, and your favorite restaurant within a drive.
Within what?
A drive. I mean, I don't hear New York.
My name is Robin. I live in Reisterstown. I like Pazzo's, Berry Kitchen, something like that. And I also like Sun Sushi in Towson.
My name's Denny, and I live in Pikesville. And I can usually be counted in for a good steakhouse. You know, Capitol Grill, Sullivan's, Ruth Chris.
Okay.
Terry. I live in Owings Mills, and we like Coco's, crab cakes. I like Linden Grill, Clementine, sort of more eclectic.
Harley. I'm from Owings Mills. I don't have like actual favorite restaurant, but I love like Asian style Chinese sushi, anything over there.
Perfect.
I'm Dana. I'm from Owings Mills. And I'd say Bluestone Grill in Towson. Great crab cakes.
My name is Paul. I live in Pikesville. Linwood's is my favorite restaurant. I'm also the chef. I love to cook. I'm a foodie. So I like real, clean, simple food. I like healthy foods. I like rich foods. I like addictive foods. I like French fries. I love bread. And very often when I travel, the one thing I judge a restaurant by is their bread. Their bread, attitude with the staff. You know, I like to feel comfortable. I don't feel intimidated. And walk into some places, they make you feel that way. Yeah, so I'm a strong believer that leadership in any restaurant is like really important.
Thank you.
My name is Alex. I live in Owings Mills. I think my favorite restaurant is probably Ruth Chris. I feel like spending that kind of money. Say more of your average thing. Call me crazy, but I love Olive Garden. Friends think I'm nuts. I just love that place.
I like Macaroni Grill.
I like Olive Branch a lot too. That's pretty close by. It's a good place too.
Okay, great.
Tyrone, I live in Reisterstown. My favorite restaurant is Roy's down in what's that? What's the area?
Harbor East.
Harbor East is my favorite.
My name is Bill. I live in Owings Mills. Probably favorite restaurant, formal, would be Prime Rib. Always still like, I don't think what else. I guess on the less formal side, I enjoy like Stone's Cove that opened up recently. Enjoy that atmosphere, and many others.
I'm Sandy. I live in Reisterstown. I think right now my favorite restaurant is Uso Bay down in Harbor East, and a lot of the Harbor East restaurants. And for me, I do like bread a lot, but service is really what, to me, that's what helps create the atmosphere, the energy, and the things other than the food that really make it an experience.
Great. All right, so let's whip around real quick. No, just give me a number. How many times on average do you eat out a week for dinner?
3.
3.
2.
1.
2 to 5.
1 to 2.
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
Okay. All right, so based on what we've heard, and not to contaminate anybody, let's just throw out some of the restaurants you frequent in this area. Just start throwing some names out.
Harriman House.
Mezcal.
There was.
Linden Grill.
Did you get mezcal?
Bonefish.
Mezcal.
Mezcal.
Outback. Like Outback.
Hardcore Gourmet.
Hello.
Hardcore Gourmet.
Readers.
Did you get Bonefish?
Olive Garden.
Martha's and Mary's.
There you go.
Sushi Yacht.
Where's that?
Valley
Pink Now
Sun.
Blue Shopping Center.
Fujiyama.
Pink Now Blue.
No, I'm talking about Red Robin.
What is it?
Red Robin.
Red Robin.
Artful Gourmet. Oh,
Fujiyama.
What's it called?
Fujiyama.
How do you spell that?
Fujiyama.
Has anybody not heard of any of these?
Fujiyama.
It's in Reisterstown by Giant.
Okay. All right, perfect. All right, so I heard a little bit about why you go to a restaurant. So let's just start throwing out reasons why you go to any restaurant in anywhere in the area.
Service.
Food.
Consistency.
Don't feel like cooking.
Convenience.
Atmosphere. Socializing.
So what do you consider a good atmosphere?
As I mentioned, I like Stone's Cove. I like Bonefish. One place it's a little more alive.
I like lighting, and honestly, ceilings have a lot. Like, if it's an open, it feels like an open environment. So if I go into a restaurant, even if they have good food, but it feels claustrophobic, I might not feel comfortable there. I might feel as if I feel like I'm being rushed out. If it's open like this, even though the acoustics aren't that well, I feel like when I first came up the steps, I said, man, this is somewhere where I can even come eat, but I wouldn't mind bringing my tablet and working or reading things while I'm here. So I think this is those things.
I don't like having to yell to someone
Yeah.
across the table, like these acoustics here. I don't want to have to yell to talk to somebody. I don't like that. I do like something that looks neat.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the design of it looks nice.
But honestly, though, counter that. I mean, sometimes I want to go to a restaurant where it's actually is a little closed off, so I can kind of hang out with my wife. It's just us. We're having dinner. I'm not seeing, a party of 12 or 3 little kids being loud and rowdy. Come out in a little section, eat, have a couple drinks.
I'd like to be. I'd like to be able to see the menu. I mean, sometimes places are so dark that it's very difficult to see. I know, it's elderly eyes, but sometimes it's just hard. And then along with that, you want to see sort of what you're eating after it comes.
atmosphere draws me in. I just want to relax. I want to feel great. I do like lively. I mean, that is always an attraction.
What's your definition of a good atmosphere?
Good atmosphere. not real loud, some nice music, nice lighting so I could read the menu, really important. And I like to see candles. I mean, it makes me want to go someplace, even if I'm going to have a hamburger and french fries, like I've done at Linwood's. That means a lot. It's like, okay, now I don't want to cook, I'm tired. That's my problem.
Okay, is anybody curious about the answers we've received so far?
About the what?
About the answers we've received to this question so far?
Sure.
What is your reaction?
Oh, wait, what? I'm sorry. What is,
Do you find any of the answers weird that we've gotten in what attracts you to a restaurant?
Price?
Not one person's mentioned food.
Hungry?
yeah, that.
So
I wasn't told the other stuff.
well, so you said atmosphere, you said, I mean, no one has said food. And I think that's a little
Food.
weird.
You could have great food, but if the rest of it doesn't, packages there, people aren't going to
But let's focus on that, because
Well, I think
I'm floored right now.
But I think the assumption is
I think it was obvious.
we're skipping the step. We're only going to go to places that we like the food.
Okay, well, that leads me to my next question. It's Monday night, you know you're gonna go out during the weekend, maybe you're going out with a couple, maybe you're going out with whoever. How do you decide what the restaurant is that you're going to once 5 days away?
First, we figure out what kind of food we want. So if there's 5 of us, like in my family, and we can't figure out who wants what, we're stuck with like, okay, well then what are we gonna do? So you have to figure out, do you want this style, do you want that style, and then we figure out from there.
Okay, who else?
I think you also have to decide the price point you're looking at. You know, are you looking to go nicer, or you want to go more casual, where it's, you know, going to be more affordable?
I do like to be able to make a reservation, so that way, or at least to call ahead.
Yeah.
If they'll take that, so that you're not waiting forever.
Distance, I'm not willing to drive an hour away. I'd rather go somewhere close. Convenient.
On the way
Like
home.
distance coupled with wait time, you don't want to drive 45 minutes, give or take, to a restaurant, then you have to then sit for another 50, give or take, to finally be seated to enjoy your meal.
Marketing and what reviews they have online. I mean, I always, before I go to a restaurant, the first thing I do is I look online, and I start looking at stars and see what they've been rated, what testimonials are out there.
So
It's a
it's
new
what?
restaurant, I would say.
Okay. All right. How else do other people decide? 4 days away, you know you're gonna go out to eat on Saturday night. What's your thought process?
Whether you can eat, if it's in the summertime, if they have outside dining.
No, I think the price points too, because then I could either have, again, my hamburger, or I can do a piece of fish or steak. So it is like I can,
What the occasion is. Are you just going out because it's Saturday, or is it somebody's birthday, or is it a special occasion?
Okay, so once you get over the first hump, you know you want to go local, you know you want to eat Mexican, you know you want to spend X. How do you next decide which restaurant that fits all those criteria that you're going to choose? Do you want to try something new? Do you want to go to an old favorite? How does that process work?
quality. I'm looking for some great quality. And it's like, where, who's got, okay, I like Roy's, I like a lot of the restaurants everybody talked about.
I think that's where consistency comes in.
Yeah.
I agree.
Time is valuable. You feel like if you know that place is always good, then less of a risk. You'll have a bad night out.
And I think if you're talking about a place in this geographic area, that I'm willing to, I always want to try something new because I feel like we don't have enough restaurants. But that first impression, makes like we went to Mezcal, and it was really good. They have good service, good food. We're like, we're going to go back. Then I went to Glendon Grill, and I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not rushing to go back. If somebody says you want to go, but I'm not rushing to go back there. But Mezcal, I was excited to go back. So I think it's that first impression too.
Also, something that sometimes helps us make a decision is if we have a coupon. You know, the Groupons or the Living Social deals.
Okay. Anybody else before we move to the next question? Just a thought process?
Just a quick point. I think that my thought process is, if I'm going to go somewhere with a group of people, I'm probably going to go somewhere I know is good. I know the atmosphere is susceptible to a group of people. If it's just like me and my wife, I might take a risk and go somewhere we've never been before. It's just us two. I'm not quote unquote responsible for the quality of everyone else's meal.
Yeah.
So like, I'd never been here before. Somebody say, hey babe, let's go here and see what's good. But I'm not going to take a group of 6 and hey, let's go try this place. I'm like, hey, let's go to Olive Garden. I will favor.
All right, so this new restaurant is going to open, or any new restaurant is going to open. What's going to attract you to try it? What would a restaurant have to do in any manner to say, I'm going to give that a shot?
I wait for others to go and I go by word of mouth.
Publicity, buzz.
Knowing it's there. Right. Geography. Where is it? Do we know anything about this? Are we not supposed to know? Like where it is?
Oh no, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Intrigue. I want them to intrigue me. Whether it's by great photos. I mean, because if it's the first time you go and it's brand new, you might not have a chance to build up the feedback or review. So when I hear about the restaurant, I'm going to search it. I'm going to Google it, and the first image I see, if those pictures are horrible, I'm not going. If it's been photographed and it looks beautiful inside, and then they show close-ups of the food and everything looks great, and I can look at that menu that corresponds with the photos, and I'm like, this is different than what's already in the area. So it kind of differentiates from something that's 2 blocks away, and the photos are great. I'm going to go because I'm curious at that point, if it's good. And like you said, you might take the risk.
Maybe an article in the community paper or something that talks about it. Something new. Well, try.
Or just the mere fact you want to test it, check it out. I mean, you know, I know what I do. I like to give good service. I enjoy giving good service. So it's like I want to go someplace and just to test it out. It's like, oh, okay. And if the service is good, sometimes that'll bring me back. If I didn't care for the food, but I liked the atmosphere and the service was great, I'll give it another shot.
I think for a new place especially, I mean, there's curiosity, so I would try, because we just like to try new things. If the service wasn't great when it was just opening, I would say I'd be willing to go back again though. And if quality isn't perfect, I'd still be willing to go back again because, you know, you gotta give it a little time to work out the kinks, so. But I would like to just try new things.
I think the website's crucial for a new place, because I know the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on the internet and just check that website out. And if it doesn't look to the standard, I'm probably not going to go. I might be missing out on something good, and then I have to wait for word of mouth to kind of get me back. But if the website's not, I'm not saying it's got to be prime rib top notch, right? It has to be a really just quality, good photos. Might not hop on Yelp, but just good photos on the website. That might lead me there, right? If the menu's right, I'll go.
Good descriptive menu online, I think is really helpful.
The next thing is wine. How much of an impact does their wine selection make a difference before you go there? This restaurant's going to have a very sophisticated wine menu, so that's why we're asking that. So in your thought process, again, it's Monday, you're 5 days away. Just go around real quick. Just
Not important. If they have a red, a white, and a whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Not a big wine drinker, so it wouldn't be a factor.
okay.
As long as they have different ranges, different reds, whites, neutrals, I'm fine with that. It's not being too sophisticated.
Not to sound sexist, I think the wine is more for like the female clients.
It doesn't sound sexist at all.
I'd rather be. It's not
I
sexist,
mean, because like all my buddies, we're beer guys, and the wives are the wine drinkers. So if they got a good wine selection, you're probably going to get, you know, that element to your clientele. It's not important at all to me, but
Like if you're gonna have a good wine selection, you should have a good other drink selection as well. You shouldn't just.
the beer usually
Not everyone
suffers.
wants to drink
The
wine.
beer selection usually suffers when the place wants to focus on the wine
Yeah.
selections.
And I don't drink, and now I'm looking for places that can do a non-alcoholic cocktail. I went to the Four Seasons, and he said, what can I get you? I said, do you have any non-alcoholic? And he says, as a matter of fact, we do. What would you like? Sparkling, wine, or cocktail? I go, cocktail. He says, yeah. So they had a house blend of things that they made, and it made me want to go a couple times. So no, not the wine, but I was excited about that. And I think more and more people today are drinking less. I have close contact with people every single day, and it's like everybody says, I stopped drinking, I eased up. So,
Okay, great.
other things.
I think it's important that they have their liquor license, but what I
doesn't make me decide to go to a restaurant.
Me neither.
Cocktails are big too. I just think if you're going to a nicer place and you want to having an option of a liquor or a cocktail is nice, but that doesn't make any difference.
Okay, so as I'm reading these questions, I realize we're asking the same things different ways, so just bear with me here. So you all have a go-to restaurant or a stable of favorite restaurants. Why is it? What makes a restaurant want you to come back over and over again?
Food quality.
Yeah, one is to that feeling, like that Cheers feeling. You want them to recognize, you know, like just because it makes it feel like more like a community, you know.
Can you give an example of where you find that?
So like greeters, if I go in, they'll be like, oh, we'll give you your table in the back. And not that every restaurant needs to do that, but just that there's an awareness that you're a regular customer, and it just creates that sense of community versus it being just a transactional thing, that it's something where
Something you can put your finger on, just the overall, hey Sandy, how you doing?
Staff is probably nice.
Yeah,
Because they're recognizing you.
The staff can make you feel that way when you walk in the door.
you know when you go to Dunkin' Donuts and they're like, iced tea, extra ice, you feel like, oh, they care about me. They know me.
You come here too much.
But it's that,
Yeah.
but I guess what I'm getting at is community, you know, like that the owners actually care about the community and the customers, and that there's that.
You're all nodding your head. Any other thoughts?
Quality and consistency.
Always good food, always a good
Yeah.
meal.
Right, consistency.
Never a problem.
They're always open when you want them to be.
Take
Yeah,
reservations.
Hours are important.
Hours,
Hours are really
yeah.
important.
What was that?
Hours.
Do they have lunch?
They're
Do they
always
have
open.
dinner?
Oh.
Like, when you're hungry for that kind of food at that hour, you know that they're going to be open.
Hot carry out. You can find restaurants, they got hot carry out, you don't want to leave the house.
So if the restaurant owners were watching this, how would you suggest they establish the Cheers factor? If they said, yeah, we want that, how do you
Be
The
there.
hostess approach.
If the hostess is a
Hostess
nasty
supposed to make
attitude,
people feel that way. But sometimes you have somebody who's not a people person, and then they're at the desk when you walk in a restaurant, and they're not people persons.
if the hostess is in that nasty attitude, I'll walk out. Like I work as a front desk position, and I know from experience that if you're not happy, smiling, even if it's like over something stupid, if you're not showing that you're appreciating your job, you're happy to be there, and you're happy that they're there, why should they come back?
So it starts when you walk in.
Also,
The wait staff as well.
you referenced Linwood's. I've only been there a couple of times, but I remember both times Linwood did walk around
Yeah, it's the
and
owner.
check on everybody.
It does, makes you feel good. So
Again,
the owners.
I think I've only been there 2 or 3 times, but every time towards the end of the meal, yeah, that stands out.
I mean, I think even if you're at the bar, the bartenders. If you're
Yeah.
sitting at the, you have to wait, and you can wait at a bar. If the bartender is just like fun and engaging, I think that makes, you don't mind
Good
waiting.
night.
Because you go to the place because the bartender's fun.
So nobody gets annoyed if somebody comes around and just bothered. I don't say bother, but
If it's
you'll
the
never be
owner,
annoyed.
if it's the
I think there's a fine
Or
line.
the chef.
Has to be
chef.
sincere. Has to be sincere.
It
It can't
does.
just be. I go to every table. It's, you know, like you say, if you order a certain dish and it's your specialty, you know, it's nice for the chef to come out at one point. And a lot of restaurants is what they do. I think it's like, you know, how was the meal? But more importantly, I think is to address that. I had an experience where the food wasn't good, and we got a call from the owner, and the owner called us, and it was like, you know, hi, I'm so and so. I noticed you had a bad time. Come back down. We'll take care of everything. Bring a friend with you. It was, you know, a lot of times people ask for what you think about it, but they don't do anything with it. You know, for an owner to go above and beyond, because I mean, how many people at this table have had a call from an owner because you had a bad time?
Never.
I would always go back to that restaurant because of that going above and beyond.
We went to Barrett's last night for dinner, and they were pretty busy, and the waitress was great, but not only that, the manager was walking around, there were other people, I don't know exactly what their positions were, but they weren't waiters. But you really felt like there was somebody available to get you you know, another drink of water or something to help you out with the check. We had an issue with the check, and it just felt like they were caring. They were on top of things.
Okay. We're gonna make another list here. Just one at a time. Tell me how you learn about new restaurants. How do you learn about new restaurants?
Word of mouth.
Drive by, seeing some, yeah, drive by.
I read it in that article in the food section in the paper,
You say the paper. Which paper?
in the Sun.
Some paper.
Am I the only one that still gets
Taste.
it? Hard copy
Yeah,
of
you
it? I
are.
probably
Social
am.
media,
I get Wednesdays.
Sorry.
You said social media. Like, give me an example.
Twitter, Facebook,
Like in the Reisterstown group.
So like,
I get this on every day.
I mean, like you're following people that are talking about restaurants?
Yeah, like, oh, I went here. Yeah, if your friends happen to post like, oh, I like tag where they were. They could check into Foursquare and be like, I went here, you should check it out.
I've seen these things where they do now, and it targets people on their mobile devices. You'll be in an area, and you'll go to use an app, and it'll say you're 5 miles away from a brand new restaurant. Like, oh really? And you hit it, and since it's local, you like, oh, I didn't know that, and you go. So it's more to me, it's online advertising or mobile advertising.
Anything else? Any other ways? Ads?
Ads.
Yeah, advertising?
Yeah.
Yes?
Maybe
Sure.
Where?
coupon.
Those coupon, like Living Social
Right,
or
the coupon
or
from
Groupon,
Baltimore
Liquor,
Magazine.
Smart
The
Shopper,
mailers, whatever those things are.
Valpak,
Valpak.
Money
Yeah.
Mailer.
People read about that?
Every
And when-
last
and
one
when-
of them. Throw most of them out, but I read them all.
And in terms of the advertising, you want the advertising to feel or give the local touch to it. You don't want to feel like, there's like Red Lobster. There's nothing local about there. It doesn't highlight that it's in your area. It's just a chain that happens to be in your area. So if you're going to advertise and it's a local-based restaurant, you want that in that advertising. If it comes across expressing, that they have ties to the community, they're volunteering, they're in the community, I'm more likely to try them out because I know they're there, but I know they're invested in the community
How
also.
many people agree with that? Okay. So let's shift the focus a little bit. You've had a long day at work and you need a drink, or you're going to meet up with somebody, or you're going to watch a football game on a Sunday. So different focus here. How are you choosing that location? Just for drinks and appetizers and/or a sporting event?
They have drink specials, big drink specials,
What'd you say?
variety of drinks.
Drink specials.
They have like,
That's good, go ahead.
they have like quality appetizers or like small dishes that they focus on.
Geography.
Yep. What's easiest to beat too?
I think that's where atmosphere comes in. You're going there to have fun. You're not necessarily going there for a great meal. You're going there to drink, watch games. You want it to be.
Wait time, like do a call ahead.
Someone say TV? Yeah. Wait time.
Demographics.
Yeah, is there a table available or do you have to set the bar? Makes a
Right, like,
difference.
I agree, like, is it comfortable? Like, do you have to stand the whole time, or can you actually get a seat? Sit down, right?
Is there
Crowd,
outdoor
there's a
seating for
great-
the summer? I'll have a beer outside.
The demographics in terms of the crowd. Is it a 25 plus, 35 plus crowd, or is it going to be 18 to plus people just hanging out? That's going to make me determine whether I'm going to go there or not in the first place.
So let's just go around real quick. Just tell me your go-to or the last happy hour / go to a game place you went to, or that you would think of first.
Readers.
You keep mentioning that.
That's because that's where
Yeah, that's what I
right
said.
in the corner.
Because they know her.
Yes, right. It's close.
Think about that. Last time I did that was Lodi's. Okay. It's fun.
I don't say readers. I was there last week. Yeah.
This isn't like local, right? It's just,
It doesn't matter.
like Crash Street Ale House in Baltimore. Nice little bar.
Yeah,
Linwood's?
yeah, I like a great cocktail out.
Do they have a TV there for games?
That's the only thing they don't put on that.
couldn't go there for games.
That's okay.
I always like a
Never
little
for happy
extra
hour.
music.
For happy
I like
hour
to hear
before,
music.
okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Green Turtle and Simonia.
What's it called?
Green Turtle and Simonia.
Green Turtle. Okay.
High tops.
I can't think of when I went to a happy hour.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
old and boring. Sorry.
You work for Image Dynamics, did you?
I did at the time. I did. Come back.
With Chris.
With Chris? Yeah.
Yeah, for good happy hour.
Yep, you're right.
I was gonna say Green Turtle, Towson with that open upstairs now, that outside, that's awesome, really nice.
All right, so we're gonna focus just on the Italian restaurant genre. So tell me your favorite Italian restaurant.
Favorite Italian?
If you had you definitely were gonna go Italian. Where would you be going?
I'd go to one of the Little Italy restaurants. If I had to go Italian, I'd do like Little Sabatino's maybe, or
Yeah.
classic Little Italy.
I agree with that, but I got to tell you, the last few times we went to good Italian, we went to Basta Pasta.
Oh, I've been there too. You know what? I might change to that.
There we go.
That's really good too. And it's easy to park, and it was really, the space was good. Good one.
Yeah, very good food.
That's what a focus group does.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So I agree with the Little Italy part, but then again, hard to park.
Yeah.
So that's the only part, I
Yeah.
like it down. I like the atmosphere and the food, but parking is like, oh,
Yeah.
here we go.
And that's why I will include Della Notte, which is in Little Italy, and they have their own
They're
parking
gone.
place.
They're gone.
Yes.
They're
They've
gone.
been gone a
They
while.
they shut the doors
About
and,
a year and a half or something.
yeah, they about 6
Don't
months
rush
ago,
back.
Don't go back.
It's gone.
They literally closed the door like
I'm
in
gonna
a
go
day.
Olive Garden.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite Italian restaurant here. I'm always looking for fresh pasta. I have a home in Tucson, and there's a couple of restaurants, Italian restaurants, and they've got incredible fresh pasta. Nice, light, and creative. And I don't know anybody here, and I've been going to Little Italy, and it's like,
They closed the old one.
it's too hard to get to,
I've
too
been to it.
inconvenient.
That's where I want to go.
Jada, what do you think?
Say macaroni grill. Like a bread. Yeah. I actually can't remember the last time I chose Italian to eat, but a family member is Italian, and he has his own restaurant, and that is in Florida. But that was my favorite, so it doesn't help. But
Okay.
I would say Carlos in Tenonia. We've been going there a bit.
Okay.
Probably Liberatories.
Two places, there was one I just tried up in Hampstead, called Fratelli's. That was pretty good. It was really pretty good. And then, is Cingali's Italian?
Cingale?
Cingale.
I just think
That was
of it
pretty
last
good.
week.
I thought that was really good.
Okay, so this works well, so everybody talks. What do you look for in an Italian restaurant? I mean, what do you go there for?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's not a good answer.
I'd say,
Wait, that's not your role. Every answer's okay.
You're right.
I'd say flavor. right?
We'll get back to you.
I'd say flavor. When I want Italian, I want rich flavors, spicy. I want, just to me, that's not so much about being full as it is flavor.
Fresh, light,
Keep going.
yeah, just fresh, light, good flavor, so it doesn't taste as if it came out of the box. I don't want it to feel like it came out of a freezer, already seasoned, and microwaved or thrown on a grill. I want to, if I'm going to an Italian restaurant, it's because I want somebody there who's been trained to prepare Italian dishes, and I feel like, wow, this is probably as close to Italy as I'm going to get without jumping on a plane.
Yeah, piggyback off that. I want to feel like I'm in Italy. Never been to Italy. So I just want to go to Italy. I feel like I'm in Italy for about an hour and a half. I don't like to get full, but if I'm eating Italian, I want to be full.
So how would I would I satisfy you as a restaurant?
Some cold bolognas, Italian beer,
Okay.
good lasagna. I feel like I'm in Italy. Maybe serve me with a little accent. It's a good time in Italy.
The music would set the scene for that,
I
right?
agree with these guys too, and I like a restaurant that'll do Italian regional food, something like really exciting, something light, different, something everybody would kind of like. I think it's possible.
I want it to be authentic. I want to see the basil and the sauce. And I want to, when they bring out that dish, I want to smell that garlic. It has to
Making me hungry.
flavorful.
Quality over quantity. No huge over pasta dishes. And I agree with everything that they said.
Great bread, because it should have really good bread. It's a great Italian restaurant. And also, like, I like having a choice to not have the typical heavy pasta, spaghetti and meatballs, although I guess it should be offered because lots of people do want that. But sort of more variety that's not as heavy as that, whether it's a veal or chicken or some things that are, definitely different, unique, more sauteed versus, I don't know, I can't think of anything offhand, but not just heavy pastas.
Okay.
Good bread, and at least a couple different shrimp dishes, because I always order shrimp in the Italian restaurants.
I like the variety of meat, fish, and pasta. But I went to a Greek restaurant. It has nothing to do with Italian. But what I did like at the end of the Greek restaurant, at the meal, they came out with a little plate of desserts, and they were just given to you. And I thought that was kind of a nice idea. Even if they gave you a couple little like a cannoli or something at the end of the meal, might be a nice little treat. Then you say, oh, I might come back, or I'll take it home and remember.
So how many people have heard of Grubhub? Grubhub, raise your hand.
Something about that.
Grubhub.
An online.
What did I just see about it? Just like yesterday.
All right. So
Oh, I don't know what.
it's a carry-out service. So let just changing topics here. How important is this restaurant to you to have a great or any kind of a carry-out option?
Love it.
Very important.
Very important.
Carry out or delivery?
Well, we're gonna get to delivery next, so let's just do carry-out.
Carry out, yes.
Yeah.
Kind of obvious
Yeah.
answer.
Yep.
So would you be more likely to get lunch delivered to your office or dinner delivered to your house? Or is it kind of neither?
Either or.
My only thing with delivery and takeout is they have to have the same menu that they have for in restaurant. Like there's some places you go, like Stone's Cove, their takeout menu is half and not even what they have in the restaurant. So it should be something like if you want something but you don't want to take it out, you should be able to get that item.
Then you notice, like sometimes when you get takeout, I don't know why, but it just seems like the food's not quite as good. It's almost as good, but not quite.
Like they don't spend as much
I
time.
think it's quite as high.
Is that the
Not like
travel
online.
thing?
Sitting.
I think so. I do.
Still on the pretty plate.
And that's why for fine food, I wouldn't do delivery.
No.
Right.
Not for fine food. I'd have to go pick it up because I want to make sure my bread's in there, the salad, not all that stuff is piled on it, and everything is packed separately. And it's like I go home and I got a feast.
And you know when you're getting it, and you know it was
Yes.
just made. Like delivery, it could take a really long time, and they could be going other
3 or 4
places
houses.
before you or whatever. And
So you're
I
not
would
sold.
much rather pick it up than actually. I'd rather. Well, I guess that would be like a carry-out
Certain
menu
food,
per se,
I
but
just
maybe
feel
not
like you should
delivery.
eat there. in my opinion.
Well,
You should just eat at the restaurant.
But if you have the option.
but you have a
Then
choice.
you'll
I'm
I feel like
exhausted.
pizza and subs and stuff.
I feel like that, yeah. Okay, so just 2 more questions before we go into the restaurant itself. Loyalty programs. Loyalty programs, frequent eater thing. Talk about whether you care about them, what they should give you, whether it's discounts the next meal, free airline tickets. Just tell me whether or whether you don't care at all. I mean, just anybody?
Well, I think it's a nice thing. I mean, like Ruth's Chris, I think they still do. Do they still do the friends, they
think
did,
so.
they did at one point have a, like you know, accumulated points, and when you got a certain number of points, you got a gift certificate for something. I mean, I don't think it would determine whether I go there. I probably collect like the little points and they would add up to nothing, but it wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, maybe it's more like a, you know, dinner free on your birthday or something, you know, like that's simple,
That's a great
something
thing.
that's
I agree with that.
easier to implement. Like Santoni's has, you buy a card of all for your sodas, but then you have to collect like 6 cards,
Yeah.
and then you get a free card. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, but if I knew on my birthday or whatever it was that I got a free dinner, then I'd bring my whole family and say, well,
So
I think it's a
it's
nice touch, but I don't think it's critical.
It's not gonna move the
success.
needle.
No.
I think from a standpoint, it's more valuable to the business and the consumers. If they collected data, I mean, just naming your birthday, and actually didn't leave it up to the customer to realize I get a free meal on my birthday. To put, you know, a system where it automatically generates a postcard. You know, congratulations, your birthday's this month. You know, your dinner's on us. That's something that nice restaurants, or if you want to build that loyalty and that relationship, that business would do, because it would, you know, now you feel special. You feel like they took the time, even though it's probably from an automated system, but you still get something in the mail on your birthday that you open and say, wow, that's nice. I'm going to go there for my birthday. It's a personal touch.
Does Linwood's have a loyalty program?
No.
Yeah, so I was
I
just
don't
thinking.
think I've been to any restaurants that
I don't know of
really have
any that
loyal
do.
around.
I know one that does.
Some of the Nationals did. Either Fleming's did it at one time. I used to get cards.
Yeah, I used to get something from
And then that
Fleming's
kind of
too.
stuff.
I think it's Panera, Canova, those type of places.
Andy Nelson's is the best at that.
That's a fast casual.
Well,
If you're
I
looking-
agree, but I'm
If
just
you're looking
saying
at,
they're
is it
good.
almost a negative? Like, do you think it's almost kind of like cheesy for like a higher
I
up?
think if somebody's striving to be a upscale, nicer restaurant, it might work against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might send a message that we're really desperate for
Desperate to
business.
get you in here.
We really we
Yeah,
want
but-
volume rather than quality.
But Terry was saying before that Ruth Chris used to do something like with points that you would accumulate. That's kind of a classier way to do it. You know, kind of like your
Well,
airlines.
you got a gold card. I mean, it was like it was gold,
That's
you know,
neat, yeah.
gold colored, and you know they swiped it through with whatever your bill was. That was how many points. I mean, you had to eat there a lot to get a $25 gift certificate, but
That just seems like a headache for a restaurant. They have to worry about all that.
Look at
well, you
people's
know what? It was up to
chains.
the
Look at
person.
people's
Have to-
keychains.
It was
Keep up. That's
completely
why I don't
up to
want-
the
How many can you
consumer
attach?
to follow
That's
up.
why I don't
with
like
it.
the membership.
I'm sure people had points that they never,
Yeah.
ever redeemed.
Okay, so how do you want your restaurant to communicate with you? Do you want to get emails from them? Do you want to have you join their Twitter, or do you not want to hear from them at all? Or how do you want Linwood to communicate with you? Or
Well, for me, that's hard to answer, because when I went to the Art for Gourmet, I gave them my email, and I got sick and tired of the 2 emails a day. I did want it, I did want 2 a day like that, and I was constantly deleting. So, I don't know,
You have to do it
maybe a
too.
weekly one?
You have to do it tastefully.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, I think a lot of companies that get into that kind of communication, they do it lazily. So they put everybody in one category and just blanket everybody. Versus if you're going to do that, you need to split it up between your very frequent customers and the customers that barely come at all. That way you don't annoy the people who are already going to come anyway. And then the people who come, you know, when you email them, you notice that they come. Then once a month, you know, but you don't want to bother people.
great point, but I don't know how you do that.
Well, and you know what?
Just,
though?
there's systems out there you can do it with.
And the content has to be like relevant. So like we get a million spams all the time, but I get one from Spa in the Valley in Hunt Valley, and they send once a month. Here's July specials, and I always open it because they're really good. Like they're valuable. It's actually a bargain if I open it. But it has to be that if I got one all the time, I wouldn't open it. I just delete. Or if I open it and said get 50 cents off your filet mignon, I'd be like, I'm not opening those anymore. So I think it has to be valuable.
What would be neat for an Italian restaurant is obviously a lot of people like to cook at home, but they like to go out. If I got a postcard or an email from my favorite restaurant that have this is the dish of the month, and they paired it with the wine you need to buy and gave me the instructions how to make it, it'd be a fun challenge to try and make my favorite dish that they make at home. So it's more of an interactive environment. They're giving me useful information. They're not just saying, well, we're
Yeah,
best
sure.
steakhouse in town. This is like, oh, last time, have you noticed on our menu this dish? Here's how you make it at home. Try it. Let us know what you think about it. So now it's interactive. I did it. I made it. Now I go on their website and I say, oh, I made this dish. This mine came out excellent or it was horrible. So it has a viral factor to it. Now it's people going to your social media site, engaging the business, and now they're inviting you to connect with them.
Or maybe you go to the
I
restaurant,
would
try
rather
it,
follow
compared to
them
what
on
Exactly.
Facebook
Yeah.
than receive emails.
Okay. All right, this has been tremendous information. I think we're through part one. I'm ready to reveal my client. I get
I said big reveal.
okay, yeah. Anybody want to guess? I probably have told you the company anyway.
It's Italian.
Yeah.
Cuisine.
So I have a menu which I'm going to pass out, but this is going to be where the Tonino's restaurant used to be. So if you know the Reisterstown area, it's on what's called Old Main Street.
It's across from Royal Farms.
Yeah.
Correct. There's a Mark's Deli that just opened. It's at the light. It's near Food Lion. If you know that area. Does anybody not know where I'm talking about? Does everybody know? Is anybody who's been to Tonino's? It was open for 20 years. You guys haven't. Okay. So for the people who do know that location, do you have any thoughts about positives or negatives about just the location?
The parking is just not great. Because of the dance studio that's there, it can get really crowded in that parking lot. It's not so easy.
I thought it was kind of a seedy area, only with, I'm not even sure if the word seedy is the right word. Maybe it was more rundown, or people that were living, the renters and all, were just not, they were just not a classier, I don't know, it was an upscale area at all.
You entered in sort of through the back,
Yeah.
It needs a better
which is a
entrance.
little odd.
The entrance is very strange.
But that's because you parked in the back.
Because you can't park in the front.
But it wasn't even a nice entrance. It was just, you felt you're walking down a hall or something.
And it always had a smell to it.
Well, let's just talk about the location. Jenny, what do you think about the location itself?
Well, being all the way down to Pikesville, having to go all the way up to Reisterstown. What?
It's like 20 traffic lights.
But it's right off of 795, so it's easy access in that respect.
It's not the direction I generally go, but I don't have a problem with it.
Is there anything that would prevent you from going there and trying to just purely because where it is?
No.
Okay.
Parking was
that
not good,
location's
I would go back.
Definite.
Yeah.
Parking would be.
Right.
I think the signage would have to be, if you didn't know where Tonino's was, there was not great signage. You could have could you access it through that little alley on Main Street? So you
Right.
really sort of had to turn around,
Sides.
so.
I mean, visually,
it
there's a
needs to
lot of
have-
drive-by traffic. I think that the exterior would really have to be given a facelift to at least that part, for people to be like, oh, it's something different, not just plugging in something else into Tonino's. I mean,
That's a good point. All right, so this is their draft menu. I want you to take a look. All right, so any overall, anybody hate it? Anybody love it? Anybody just
I
think
think it's
so-so?
very blah.
All right,
Sorry.
why?
It's just, there's nothing exciting.
It's like standard.
This is so
It feels
standard.
like
standard.
JMP.
It's like
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
JMP.
one at a time,
I think
one
it's
at a
like
time.
JMP. I think it's like Tonino's was, but a way smaller menu. They probably had 8 kinds of veal dishes and 8 chicken dishes. They had a much larger. I just think this is blah.
menu though.
The only thing that really
It's
intrigued
just
me,
too
overwhelming.
blah.
Just
The
one
only-
at a time, one at a time.
the only thing that really intrigued me was the one salad with like dried berries and the pine nuts. Everything else kind of seemed the same.
Is that because there were no pictures with it? Do you think if we had great pictures beside these same dishes?
That helps.
It might help, but I like when somebody can describe a dish and there's like different things.
Exactly.
Where there's like a variety. It's not just like pasta sauce and that's, they describe what's in it. There's something that you might think, really, they put that with it, that actually kind of it sounds interesting. Like I would rather try that.
So is it more the description of the menu, like that when they like say?
Better description is always a good thing.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
I don't mind that the menu is simple because I get overwhelmed by so many things. So it's kind of nice and simple and clean, but I agree, like the description, I have the same reaction to that salad being interesting. And I think in that location, something's going to have to, it's going to really have to have a different look because you've got Genova's and JMP, and you got a couple places that this menu doesn't feel like it's anything different.
Jenny, what do you think?
It just doesn't do anything for me. I mean, it just, I guess I thought it was going to be maybe a little bit more upscale. And it doesn't even have to be upscale to have a little bit more oomph to some of the entrees. But these are very generic to me.
See, I agree with Kari. If these dishes had more description, like the menu doesn't sell the dish. It just says, pizza or, Caesar salad. Caesar salad, but describe the Caesar salad. Tell us what's in it so that it, almost have a professional writer write the menu so that it creates excitement instead of just saying class. Because if you're going to be a high-end restaurant, you want to sell the high-end, so you just can't say classic Caesar.
It's not bad. When you say Caesar salad, it sounds like it's from a bag. There's
Sounds like a bag.
It's from, you just rip a poop in a bag.
Caesar
and-
salad.
Yeah.
High Caesar salad with fresh this, fresh tossed lettuce, fresh cut. Now I'm reading it, that Caesar salad sounds a lot different. The description words behind Caesar salad, they could take out Caesar salad actually and just describe it, and I'd be like, wow, that's really good. What is that? It's a Caesar salad, really. And now I'm in.
You want to
Now I
go to a
don't want it.
restaurant. That's
Yeah.
why we're sitting
Help.
downstairs. They got a great Caesar. I'll go there for that great Caesar.
It's gotta sell me.
That's a good job recruiting you guys.
It's a Caesar. It's gotta be. It's gotta.
I think this is it's a big challenge ahead of them. Just taking off of your point, my recollection of Panino's, the food was always good. I liked it. We went there a lot. J&P's open. Was a little easier to park, a little bit bigger, a little cleaner, a little newer, and I think that pulled people away. And I think when Panino started to suffer, service wasn't as good, and I just think people just said it's not worth it anymore. I think they're going to have a good, solid menu, and I think it's going to be very family friendly. And I think pricing is going to have to be very, very. Yeah.
So using that as a segue, what would you feel comfortable as an entree based on everything you've learned, heard? What would you expect the entree to be? Just write a range.
I'm sorry, price-wise?
Yeah. Before anybody blurts it out, why don't you just write down. Why don't you just write down kind of a price range, and then we'll start working out.
You mean like from
Just
bottom to top?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
the entree.
Just the entrees.
Okay.
$7 to $9.
You're pricing everything.
You don't price everything. Just
The price is right.
I'm just going for it right now.
going for it, filling
Playing the game.
it, filling it.
Higher, lower?
So just for my curiosity, what do you guys think?
I said $10.99 to $17.99.
I said 12 to 18. I said 14 to 17.
Got
With the
10
steak
to
at
18.
20,
Was that
steak at 20 range. I don't know if it's gonna be like a quality steak or, but like I said, like $10, 15.
Yeah, I got 18 to 30, depending on quality.
Everybody has the same price. I got a lot of paper I'm going to hand out, so just give it to me all back at once. So the next thing we're going to talk about is a name. And we have 2 sheets here, and these are in alphabetical order. And this is just our first pass. And if you don't like any of them, tell us that too. But we're just going to ask you to rank your top 1, 2, and 3. And any of these could have Ristorante next to it, or they might not. So after you fill it out, we're going to have a brief discussion. And if you have a better one, write it on there too.
Are you going to tell us what the words mean?
Afterwards, because right now,
Okay, I did this because of asking.
if you see it, you want to have somebody telling you.
Oh, no. Supposed to rate the top 3.
Gotta get the you got a preview here.
You said top 3, right?
Just top 3 if you can, Just put your pen down when you're done, so I know you're done. It's like school.
Hands to the desk.
Stand up.
Put your head down.
All right, so any thoughts, first of all, okay, well, any thoughts in general? Anybody feel strongly about one? Or
Yes.
Go ahead.
Only because wherever I've traveled, there's something that's attracted me. When I saw Manja, and it's like eat, food. It's got to be good. It's got to be good. You say Manja, there should be something good there. So I would be inclined to check out Manja before any other one.
I like the one word. That's what I
Me
said.
too.
I don't like the two word.
Like to me, the 2-word ones sound
Yeah.
like the names of a dish, but I like manja,
I like
or
manja.
like
Or
gusto, or fresco,
Right.
like that one word. We're going to manja, not something.
I agree.
I like any name. Like when I read through them, I tried to figure out which name I could give a nickname to. Everybody gives their kid a name. They love that name, but you love that nickname. Something because the nickname allows people to bring it up in conversation quick, and it spreads. Yeah. So that's
All
why.
right, so I
Easy
may
to
not
say.
I may not pass out the next one. So just tell me your favorite name, just real quick. So, what's your favorite?
I like gusto.
Manja Fresco.
Gusto.
I like the mono.
Mono? Which means homemade. Go ahead.
Manja Fresco. It's nice to say.
Mono, okay.
Eat fresh.
Same.
Pastel.
What do they mean now? Can you tell us?
What's that?
What do they all mean?
By hand.
Amana means homemade?
Mono means homemade. Okay, so I'm going to pass out 6 logos. And then I'm going to pass out 14 logos. So, actually, you have to share. I only have 6.
That sounds cool.
Sure.
Okay, to share?
Yeah. So just,
Do you have enough to share?
well, if not,
Okay, I think we're good.
That doesn't work.
so just put a check mark or circle the one you like best. And if you don't like any of them, right on the bottom. Just put 2 checks. Do you like the name?
I like the name actually.
It looks better,
I've changed my mind. I like that name.
Yeah, and that is.
You should like how the Amana looks with that logo.
What's the center of this?
Like
It looks
What's my
like
first choice of name?
I don't know.
it's like a motorcycle or a moped.
Yeah, it's a moped.
I love this one.
That's a great
About
question.
I'm like, my glasses
Yes,
are
and
not.
I can see it on
That's
a
odd.
sign
I don't know about the
iron
moped.
thingy hanging down.
I don't know about the moped.
Must be an Italian thing.
What's in the middle
I
of
would like
this
that.
logo?
It's a Vespa.
Oh, nice.
Now I see it.
Start that.
Okay.
Motorcycle.
It's hard to see.
Yeah.
That's
Where?
I like this color.
Where's this?
Like a man on the motorcycle.
Oh my gosh, you don't like
Forget
this?
about it.
Yeah, it stands out.
I still don't see it.
Definitely drawn to the circle.
Yeah.
I thought it was a
You
mess.
know, like I keep putting these off as like their heads.
To me, the name gets lost in there. That's, I like,
Here's the wheel, here's the,
Yeah.
and I would say that combination works.
it is
There I
hard to
see
see, yeah.
Like that.
I like that.
Yeah,
it's-
I see it
I
now.
didn't
I'm
think
not
I
sold
would,
on
but I
that.
kind of like it.
Yeah.
So just so I can get this on tape,
So circle that one.
I'd like to get some comments. Terry, can you just repeat what you said?
About the signage, the
What about
logo,
the
when I
logo you
could
like best?
envision it.
Yeah, show it up to them.
I like this, I like this
No, show-
Monte
this one, show that,
Fresco.
show
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry. I like
Cut.
this Monte Fresco logo because I think it's an artichoke, am I correct?
You
That's
are.
what it is, okay. So I can envision it on like a wrought iron, something like with it hanging and it's very like Old Town Alexandria like hanging outside over the sidewalk so people can really see where the restaurant is and, you know, on the Main Street side. I mean, I can envision that. But with that said, if that is the logo, then I think you gotta serve artichokes on the menu.
It's done independently.
Well said.
Any other thoughts about the logos? Strongly for and against?
I agree. I like the first one because I think it shows me some quality. And again, that would be a draw for me to just, okay, if they're gonna, some fresh pasta, good bread, I'll check it out. But then I also like the second one, but I don't like this black stuff inside. I like the Mangia Fresco
It's
with
a
the
Vespa, by the way.
What is
It's a
it?
Vespa.
It's a Vespa thing, you're right. Yeah,
very
I'm
nice.
strangely looking at it, so, and what is that? What is that? I just said, what is that?
I didn't even know which one.
I kind of like, we like this gold one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of warm looking, classy looking too. I mean, I think it would show up. You got the dark, you know, in with the gold. I thought that was kind of an upscale looking, classy type of pretty attractive.
Yeah, I don't like the whole red, white, green,
I don't like it.
because that's what everybody does. Yeah, it's Italy, but it's not, it's tacky. It's not, using a color scheme like that, like, gives it something else.
Yeah, I withdraw mine, like on that.
I'm John Carney.
First one.
And the truth is, like, depending on the name, I mean, like, that design I like. I mean, it could be, I think I probably gravitated towards this because this was the name that I happened to like better than that one, so.
I'm just gonna say, I like the logo here, and I didn't like Amano at first, but seeing that against the emblem, it sets itself off, and I think that'll help the name stand out in people's head, personally.
Okay. Anybody else before I move on to the final question? These guys didn't like any of these logos, so we were forced to come up with new ones. So here's 14 logos.
Okay, so I like the rustic Italian bistro. I think it sounds cool and hip and trendy, and something that Reisterstown doesn't have already. So if it was Mangia Fresco, a rustic Italian bistro, then I think it will attract people just by having that little tagline under it that sets it apart somehow.
About the logos, I mean, I'll get your comments, but anybody want to say anything?
Yes.
I think overall these logos are, sorry.
Or what?
Overall, I think these logos, the second selection's a little more improved on these circular ones here. Honestly, they all look pretty good, but I think that a lot of us are agreeing that number 2 seems to be a pretty nice one to go with,
At your corner.
in my opinion.
Ours is different.
Well, these are logos.
Yeah, those are those.
These are restaurants.
Right, he likes it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know, okay. The way you said it was
Yeah.
like.
I think 14, I like that because I think it fits that neighborhood and the architecture of everything about it. But then I also like number 2 because it's a little newer looking. So I'm torn. It's like looking new and different in that neighborhood or blending in with the neighborhood. And again, the presentation of that sign with lighting is going to be really important.
All right, so I'm going to finish this up with, I'm going to have Brett, and thank you, Brett, for doing this for us. does a great job. You have a website you want to talk about? I'm going to have you just go around one at a time. I haven't filmed you. Just you're speaking directly to the restaurant owner. So basically, everything you know, location, menu, all that. Just one bit of advice. You know, do this. You can come up with something. You know, just going to go one at a time, and then we'll be done. Who wants to be first? We're going to go in order.
Yeah, I've got to think of something.
Okay, Bill, we'll start with you.
I will say we'll need to be quality food, very consistent, and this is a neighborhood place, and you'll really need to appeal to the families and the neighborhood.
So I think you need to be ready when you open. So do lots of practice, be ready, because people have an expectation, and when your doors open, you don't want to be testing the waters to a super soft opening. So when your grand opening happens, you hit the ground running and make a great first impression.
I think when you're opening your new business, I think you should understand who you are, why you do what you do, and what makes you different from all the other establishments, and include that in from your menu to your signage to really stand out in the community.
Probably nothing you haven't thought about 1,000 times. Good food, good price point, fun environment, clean, safe, just overall quality.
Changing stations in the men's bathroom for kids.
Good daddy.
Good call.
Maintain strong leadership in your company and keep your finger on the pulse.
Attract the locals, use fresh ingredients always, and make yourself stand out. Like, there's so many different Italian restaurants out there. You have to use a specialty item or something to really get going to the restaurants.
Make sure you have staple dishes, but also have things that will bring people that have a better quality of taste in, not better quality, but more interested in trying something new. And make sure that you hire quality staff that are going to care for who's coming in and why they're there.
Agree about everything everyone has said, actually. High quality food, fair prices. Even if it's a little higher, the quality is there. People will pay. I completely agree. You have to be ready to open because word of mouth is most important. And this community, if it's not a good first impression, it's just you're sunk.
Consistency, quality, open to customer critique and willing to make the changes that you hear, be very open to what the consumer is saying.
A lot of Italian restaurants in Wrighton, you have to be different from them. It's maybe the bar and having happy hours and ratings games or something that draws in people that the other restaurants don't have, and just good food and all kinds of price ranges, from appetizers to entrees.
Okay, so I got last thing.